Yeah, that looks right.
Yeah.
I was just, yeah.
Might be a minor question. Is there a presentation on that? Let him public. Got it. Okay. Got it. All right, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission at the City of Howe at 6 p.m. There's a quorum present. Item number 1 on our agenda is discuss, consider, and act upon approving the minutes from the January 16th, 2024 meeting. Motion?
Motion to approve minutes.
Second.
Second. Okay, all in favor? All right, easy enough, motion carries. Number 2, discuss, consider, and act upon the preliminary and final plat of Malachi Second Edition to the City of Howe, Grayson County, Texas, being a replat of Lot 8, WJ, if I get that wrong, we'll go Tiggy, addition to the town of Howe being a total of .287 acres in the J. Hanning Survey, abstract number 544. Tract of land consisting of .1279 acres of land located in the J. Hanning Survey, abstract number 544, Grayson County, Texas, in the City of Howe, Grayson County, Texas, therefore zoned single family 2. And then another property description, tract of land consisting of .2 acres of land located in the J. Hanning Survey, abstract number 544, Grayson County, Texas, in the City of Howe, Grayson County, Texas, therefore heretofore zoned SF2. Anything on that one? Discussion?
I have just a question on that, just because I'm unfamiliar still with all the process. Driving by it today, it looks like they have their trenches done to pour their footings. On the east side of the property, it looks pretty close to the neighboring property. Do we have somebody from the city that measures that out before they pour?
Yeah, so I'll give you a little backdrop on that. They were initially approved by Bureau Veritas based on our old regulations, ordinance number 528, and they were about 4 feet away from the property line, and we put a halt on it, and there was some confusion between Bureau Veritas and the city. They apparently in 2019 did not get the updated ordinance number 756, which had 10-foot side yards. Mm-hmm. So we made Mr. Nunez go back and correct that, and he agreed to do so, replatted it, and that's what this is. Initially, it didn't come before the Planning and Zoning, and that's why it's in front of you right now for this approval, but it is 10 feet on each side yard. Okay. Matter of fact, he had to purchase additional property to make that 10 feet, so.
Okay, I just, driving by, just eyeballing it from the truck.
Yeah.
I was like, the trench is real close there, but that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? Nope. Nope. Okay. Kurt? Motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
A second.
Okay. All in favor? All right. Number 3, discuss, consider, and act upon the preliminary plat and final plat of lots 7R and SR, Block 8, WH Beans addition to the City of Howe, Grayson County, Texas, being a replat of all of lots 7 and 8, Block 8, WH Beans addition, being a total of .316 acres in the J.A. Hanning Survey, abstract number 544. What discussion we got there?
So, reading the note you sent with the packet, that he's going to fix that culvert that crosses the street going west.
Yes, Mr. Nunez is here. You might want to speak to that if you can. He's going to make some significant improvements to the drainage in order to make that property work. I advised him to meet with the neighbors on there to get their blessing, and this is kind of what came out. So I'll let Mr. Nunez discuss this.
Hello. We have, there's an issue with the pipe that crosses Tut
Yes.
on Bean. It sort of collapsed, and what's happening is, as water is coming down Tut and it's coming down Bean, it can't go through the pipe, so it's coming over and it's flooding the houses on the west side. Okay, so what we propose is to turn the houses so they're not built to drain on Bean. We're going to drain them on Tut, because if you drain the sidewalk, the driveways on Bean, it'll still go over and it'll still flood the neighbor's house. So we're going to turn the properties, drain it on Tut, then we're going to go ahead and fix the pipe that crosses Tut on the east side of Bean. That's the one that's collapsed. We're going to remove 6 inches wide of asphalt. We're going to remove the pipe, put in a new pipe, and then cover it with concrete with rebar reinforced. And we ask that the city take care of the traffic, close down the street for 3 days so it dries up, and then when they remove it, cars will be able to go over it. Then we won't have that issue of flooding over Bean and into the neighbor's property. So that should resolve everything. It fixes things for the city. We'll do it at our cost, and it makes it fixes for the neighbors so they're not going to be flooding the way that they are at this point in time.
Yeah, I've spoken to the neighbors across the street there, and that's been a historical problem going back some time with the water coming west that way. So sounds like an excellent solve.
How much concrete are we talking? You said you're going concrete over it. Like how far either way, or just directly above the pipe?
Before we final the house, we would have that street taken care of. So it's going to fit on the scheduling as we're doing the work. So before the houses are final and we get final on the homes, that has to be completed.
Yeah. Yeah, like the depth and how far either way? Like you're doing just the 6 inches above the pipe?
So
or?
the concrete is going to be, the strip that we're going to remove is 6 feet wide.
6 feet, okay.
6 inches deep, and it's concrete reinforced. It matches the requirements that you have on the books now for streets.
Good.
Okay, so we're going to match that and then take 6 inches of that street, 6 feet of that street off, and then that's what we'll refill after we put the pipe back in.
Feel better about 6 feet than 6 inches. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Any other discussion?
Nope.
All right. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll motion approved.
Okay.
Second.
All right. All in favor? All right. Then the last item on the agenda, discuss, consider, and act upon a zone change request by property owner Michelle Foster Thompson on the purpose of zoning request seeking amendments to the City of Howe zoning ordinance number 528 and number 756 from SF1 to C2.
The real estate broker is here, David Menger, and I think he's prepared to make a presentation on this. Are you ready to do so?
Yeah, okay. Perfect.
Have a couple of things to do out to each one of you. Survey along with the use that we're going to have.
Thank you.
Because of the property and where it's located close to the Carsons, the auction, I have a client, Scott Bain, who's Bain Equipment, who's looking at using out of the 30 acres now immediately 10 of the acres up closest to Carsons. And it's going to be heavy equipment. So that's the immediate need, but we'd like to have it all zones C2, commercial, general commercial, just so that we can have that for future use in case that Scott decides to develop that out, which he probably is going to. It's just a timing issue on what I couldn't bring you master plan at this point. But right now, the 10 acres at the very closest to Carsons, which I think would, be a complement to their use for us to be the heavy equipment at that point. So we'd like to have it all zoned commercial, and I'm guessing, Monty, that does include the heavy equipment? Okay.
Sorry, this is one I didn't get to go by today, kids dentist appointments and all. But I'm trying to lay it out in my mind. Is the north side that tract, is that the apartments?
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
And then so the south side is the auction house?
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
But changing all of it, so between the auction and the apartments?
Correct.
I don't.
To commercial.
Yeah. Do you foresee it all being like continued growth just for Bain equipment? I know there's a lot of need for that, or would it be something further in the future, that northern part?
No, 10 acres is much.
Much as you need?
Yeah.
So developing towards something else in the future?
Right.
Okay.
Makes sense. It's on 75. I mean,
Yeah.
we see it all up and down.
Anything else?
One question on this plat here. It's a bit tiny for me to read, but
Me too, by the way.
good, skimming over it at the top in your meets and bounds, the instrument number, it appears that you have the receipt number and not an instrument number.
Okay,
You would probably just need to correct that on the
Okay.
plat that gets filed.
Sure.
Because generally the instrument number is 2020, 2020, whatever year
Gotcha.
the filing was done for the transfer of the property.
Okay.
And then a number after that. This looks like just the number the county puts as their receipt number.
right. We'll get it original to you guys.
Okay, perfect.
Anything else? Nope. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate your time. It's good to be back in Howe.
We'll mention that we did send out letters to neighbors, and we didn't get any returned mail on that. No objections. I did talk to Wade Carson at Southwest Auction, so he is well informed of the situation. So that's really all I have to report. I didn't have any feedback negatively on this.
Yep. Yep. Okay, so at this time, we'll open it up for public comment. Does anybody, any questions, comments, concerns? Discuss? All right, that was easy. All right, we'll close public discussion. All right, do we have a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Okay.
Second.
Second. All right, all in favor? All right, motion carries. All right, that is it. That called the meeting adjourned. Thank y'all.
I'm here for mutual support. I'll answer any questions if there's any questions. Well, two was broken, I fixed it, it's $91,000. Hey, short and simple, right? That's right. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, taxpayers. Hey, that's the day one report right there. Where's the day one report?
Everybody's mics are on, by the way.
There's cups though, so that's usually good for. There's cups. Yes. There is a gallon jug of water.
That's one way to do it.
There's literally everything.
I left it the other day. I thought I left it in the elevator at work. And
I had a
somehow I got back to the office and said, I'm like, somebody left it on
Gotta
the
do this, gotta do this, gotta do this. I mean,
I don't know how they figured, well, I figured they figured it was mine because it fell out of my car. And I picked it up.
I was just like,
it's like a knife. I always have one. You leave that here every time. I left it here once.
It wouldn't be the first time I left stuff.
It's a tool, not a weapon.
I will. And that's when I
Does anyone have any public comment forms that they need to turn in to me? Good evening. There being a quorum present, this regular session of the Howe City Council is hereby called to order on Tuesday, February 20, 2024 at 6:16 p.m. under the Open Meetings Act of the state of Texas. Before we begin, please remove your hats and silence your cell phones, please. And let's stand for the prayer and the pledges. Councilman Rodney Huff will lead us in prayer.
Dear Lord, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for the ability to come together to discuss the future of our city. Lord, we pray that you would bless us as with wisdom and help us each, Lord, to seek your will in all the decisions we make. Forgive us, Lord, when we fail you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Now for the pledges. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Please be seated. So the first order of business is we're going to do our public recognition. We have two city employees that we want to recognize this evening. And if I could ask Miss Becky Roberts to come up front, please.
She didn't know that was part of the deal.
By the way, Becky is a tremendous employee for the city of Howe and has been for a long time. You know, we get a lot of flack about our water bills and things like that, and she's the absolute perfect person to work the window because no one can get mad with that smiling face up there. She also has been named the Norma J. Wallace Citizen of the Year this year, and she'll be recognized May the 3rd right here. So thank you, Becky. Chief Hudman has been,
Maybe it's this one.
Much better.
I'd like to personally thank Chief Hudman as well for his dedicated service for the city of Howe. He and I have had a great relationship back probably 10 years, so I just appreciate everything he's done and continues to do here for the city of Howe.
Okay, let's move on to citizen comments. The City of Howe invites citizens to speak to the council on topics not already scheduled for public hearing or on the agenda. Citizens may address the council for a maximum of 2 minutes. The council is unable to respond or to discuss any issues that are brought up during this section that are not on the agenda, other than to make a statement of specific factual information in response to a citizen's inquiry or to recite existing policy in response to the inquiry. I do have one public comment request from Mr. Sean Tyler. And so if you will come up to the microphone and state your name and address, please, sir.
Thank you. Sean Tyler, address is 317 East Touch Street. I just wanted to introduce myself since I'm running for the city council position seat here in beloved town of Howe. Over the next few months, I eagerly anticipate meeting many of you to understand the issues and topics you find most important. Let me share a bit about myself and give you a sense of who I am and why I'm standing before you today. First and foremost, I'm a man of faith. I strongly believe in the value of serving our community. The decision to run for city council wasn't something I had long considered. In fact, it felt like more of a calling that became undeniable a couple months ago, especially after a friend suggested I pursue the path. Their confidence in me confirmed the fact that I needed to step forward and run for city council. I'm blessed with a beautiful wife, and together we've blended a loving family of 6 children and have been graced with a grandson. Family is the core of everything I do, and it's my family that has propelled me to where I stand today. My journey to Howe has been filled with diverse experiences. Born and raised in New Orleans, served 8 years in the service, dedicating myself to our country's safety and well-being. Since 1999, I've been in the state of Texas. It's my adopted home now, and for the past 4 years, Howe has been my community, and we choose to plant our roots here. As I campaign for a seat on the city council, my goal is clear: to work collaboratively with the citizens and other council members to enhance our standards of living. I believe that together we can tackle the challenges ahead, seize opportunities, and improve our community for everyone who calls Howe home. Thank you for considering me as a candidate. I'm committed to running a successful campaign grounded in honesty, integrity, and service. I look forward to engaging meaningful conversations, listening to your concerns, and developing solutions that reflect our shared values and aspirations. Together, let's work towards a brighter future for Howe. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on to mayor comments. Voting day for our local election is Saturday, May 4, 2024. The same as Founders Day Festival, the same day the Founders Day Festival is held. The Howe Hump Day Network Breakfast is held every Wednesday of the month from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. here in Summit Gardens, and everyone is welcome to attend. Moving on to our consent items. These items consist of non-controversial or housekeeping items required by law. Items may be considered individual by any council member making such request prior to a motion and vote on the consent items. 1, discuss, consider, and act upon consent items which are marked by an asterisk.
which are minutes of the regular council meeting, January 16, 2024, minutes of the special council meeting, January 23, 2024, bills being paid for the month, detailed check register report, statement of revenue and expenditures, independent financial secured deposits, January 31, 2024, recap and standings, January 2024, Grayson County election contract. Does the council wish to discuss any of these items? If not, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
To approve?
Approve.
Okay, Michael makes a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Sarah seconds. All in favor? Everyone? Any opposed? None opposed. Action item. Discuss, consider, and act upon the sale of city-owned 2007 asphalt zipper through the municipal auction process. Does the council wish to discuss this item? If not, do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Motion to approve?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'll second.
Billy makes a motion to approve. Rodney seconds. All in favor? Everyone? Any opposed? None opposed. Item number 2, discuss, consider, and act upon the sale of 3 out-of-service public work trucks through the municipal auction process. Does the council wish to discuss this item?
I have a question, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
So this municipal process, is this kind of like Renee Bates? Kind of like an online auction, or is it just like an in-person auction?
What I'm understanding, and Mickey may have to correct me on this, but I'm understanding it's an online auction. Yeah. It's the procedure that municipalities have to go through.
Gotcha.
Does any other council member wish to discuss this? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Rodney makes a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Sarah seconds. All in favor? Everyone? Anyone opposed? None opposed. Ordinance number 813. An ordinance annexing the hereinafter described territory to the city of Howe, Grayson County, Texas, and extending the boundary limits of said city so as to include said hereinafter described property within said city limits, and granting to all the inhabitants of said property all the rights and privileges of other citizens, and binding said inhabitants by all of the acts, ordinances, resolutions, and regulations of said city, and adopting a service plan. Notes: full property description is available for viewing at the City Hall. General description: 91.31 plus or minus acre tract of land out of the Lemuel Thornburg Survey, abstract number 1215, and the WA Park Survey, abstract number 925, situated in Grayson County, Texas, and being all of a called 91.25 acre tract of land conveyed to ARC STX Holdings, LLC, by deed of record in volume 4740, page 315 of the official records of Grayson County, Texas, generally being adjacent to Ponderosa Road, and that portion of Ponderosa Road, Grayson County, Texas, that abuts the annexation property, including the entire width of said county road and the adjacent right-of-way on both sides of the county road that abuts the annexation property. We will now enter a public hearing for ordinance number 813. Are there any members of the public that wish to discuss this item? Okay. We will now end the public hearing and return to our regular session. Action item number 3, discuss, consider, and act upon ordinance number 813, annexation of being a 91.31 acre tract of land out of the Lemuel Thornburg Survey, abstract number 1215 and the WA Park Survey, abstract number 925, situated in Grayson County, Texas, and being all of a culled 91.25 acre tract of land conveyed to ARC STX Holdings LLC by deed of record in volume 4740, page 315 of the official records of Grayson County, Texas, and that portion of Ponderosa Road, Grayson County, Texas, that abuts the annexation property, including the entire width of said county road and the adjacent right-of-way on both sides of the county road that abuts the annexation property. Does the council wish to discuss this item? If not, do I have a motion?
I'll motion to approve.
Billy makes a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Rodney makes a second. All in favor? All in favor? Any opposed? None opposed. Resolution number 2024-0002, resolution authorizing continued participation with the steering committee of cities reserved by Encore and authorizing the payment of 6 cents per capita to the steering committee to fund regulatory and legal proceedings and activities related to Encore Electric Delivery Company, LLC. We will now enter in a public hearing for resolution number 2024-0002. Does anyone in the public wish to make a comment or talk about this? Okay, so we will now end that public hearing, return to regular session. Item number 4, discuss, consider, and act upon resolution 2024-002. Does the council wish to discuss this item?
I feel like I should know the answer to this, but who's our representative on this committee?
There's a list of about 4 individuals but as far as the city itself, I don't know the answer to that. That may be something that falls into my lap, and I just don't know it yet. But I know that this is routine, and it's something we do every year on this.
I knew it was. I just didn't know who actually goes to the meetings.
It's probably me. I just don't know it yet.
You have all the meetings to go to.
It is now.
Does any other council member wish to discuss this item?
So are we, again, like Sarah said, I would have to know the answer to this, but the top part of this says that we are paying 6 cents per capita, and then down in the verbiage, the second to last whereas, it says 10. And then you go to the second page, the city is further authorized to pay its assessment to the steering committee of 10 cents per capita. Are we paying 6 cents or are we paying 10 cents?
Well, this resolution was sent verbatim from them, so it's something that I can check into and get more clarification on that. So if that's something you want to table and allow me to make have a conversation with, I'm happy to do so.
I mean, is this not urgent?
It's not urgent.
I make a motion to table.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, so Michael makes a motion to table, Billy second. All in favor? Everyone, any opposed? None opposed. Resolution number 2024-0003, a resolution of the City of Howe, Texas, granting owners voluntary petition for annexation, initiating proceedings on voluntary petition for annexation and required annexation of abutting county road, setting a date, time, and place for public hearing on the proposed voluntary annexation of annexation areas required annexation of abutting county road by the City of Howe, Texas, authorizing and directing the mayor, city secretary to publish and post notice for such public hearings and authorizing other necessary action. We will now open this up to public hearing for resolution number 2024-0003. Does anyone from the public wish to make a comment or have a discussion on this? Okay, we are going to now end this public hearing and return to regular session. Item number 5, discuss, consider, and act upon resolution number 2024-003. Does the council wish to discuss this item? If not, do I have a motion?
I'll motion to approve.
Billy makes a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Rodney makes a second. All in favor? All are in favor. Any opposed? None are opposed. Item number 6, discuss, consider, and act upon interlocal agreement with Grayson County to improve Ponderosa Road for the city-owned 20-foot by 739-foot section of roadway in front of Bethel Baptist Church for $16,256. Does the council wish to discuss this item? If not,
I do
Okay.
have a question. This may be a question for Monty, or maybe Mickey will be able to answer it. I know that there's been some citizen concern that some repairs have happened at the expense of citizens for this road. Is there any plan to help with that, or any conversation in regards to that?
I haven't had any complaints as far as damage to vehicles. That has not been addressed towards me anyway. We did have a citizen go out there and throw some gravel in one of the potholes.
That may be
So,
what they're referring to.
And obviously, we frown upon that. You have to, have a license to do that, as a matter of fact. So what we're suggesting here is to go ahead and rehab that entire stretch in front of the Bethel Baptist Church. We're still looking at closing Bethel Road. We have one property owner who's sent a protest letter for that, or sent a letter to go ahead and close it. The other one we're working with. But on that stretch of road, this could affect also our thoroughfare plan, and especially the annexation that you guys just approved for that stretch of Ponderosa. Part of the process on the Bethel Road is trying to make a deal on some of that portion of property so that we obtain the right-of-way for that thoroughfare plan to cut through that property and make 902 an east-west clean conversion. But that's a different subject as far as this Bethel Baptist Church stretch is concerned. But it's in the budget, and I think I outlined earlier that y'all have approved 3 other street projects earlier this year that totals $89,515.80. And so this $16,000 falls well within our budget amount. The total amount of the budget is $196,210. So there's still a lot of room to play with if we have any other issues that pop up.
thank you.
I was kind of walking around your question, but did I?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Does any other council member have discussion on this item?
Yes, and you don't have to come back up because this might be you or Mickey, I'm not sure yet. We're chip and sealing that, and the most damage comes from the 18-wheelers using that as a cut-through to get to northbound 75 instead of following 902, which is state-funded and maintained. Is there a process to limit heavy or commercial motor vehicle travel on that road once it's repaired to limit the damage?
The only thing we could really do is put up signs that say, similar to the stretch between the railroad tracks and Highway 5, no trucks allowed. And we kind of see how they abide by that. But that's really our only fallback in that situation. But again, that thoroughfare plan is so crucial to that development. And we're making good progress with that landowner on obtaining the right-of-way. So that is our ultimate goal.
It needs to be done. I just don't want to spend, 16.2 of our money and 16.2 of the county's money for 12 months for it to look like it is now due to the constant truck traffic due to the increase in construction out this way. Which, get it. A necessary evil.
Yeah.
Are there any other council members that wish to discuss this item? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
motion to approve.
Michael makes a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Billy seconds. All in favor? All are in favor. Any opposed? None are opposed.
Just following up on that, I was just told by our Public Works crew that there are signs up there that say no trucks allowed. So maybe we'll get out there and clean those signs maybe.
Item number 7, discuss, consider, and act upon the renewal of the lease purchase agreement between the City of Howe and Independent Financial for 2 ambulances in the amount not over $40,000 due March 10, 2024, and authorize the City Administrator, Monty Walker, to execute and sign all documents pertaining to the renewal. Does the council wish to discuss this item? If not, do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion. To approve.
Michael makes a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'm happy to second, but the way that the motion reads is approving it for $40,000, but I think the payment is $40,000. So we should actually be approving the renewal for the full amount less $40,000, correct? Right, but what we're approving is a renewal of the remainder of the loan. So it should actually, I think, read 122,000.
Whatever the difference is.
Right. The amount now minus 40,000. So I don't know what the procedure is, if we can change that.
You can let that motion die and correct that motion.
Okay. So,
We have no second.
yeah, we do have a second. Could you second?
Oh, I will withdraw my second.
Okay. All right. So Sarah withdraws her second. Do I have a second? We already have the motion. Michael had made a motion to approve.
I'll withdraw the
Oh, okay. Michael's withdrawing his motion. All right. Do I have a new motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve, to renew the loan for the full amount minus the $40,000 payment.
Okay.
I second the opinion of the professional banker.
Billy makes a second. All in favor? All are in favor. Any opposed? None are opposed. Item number 8, discuss, consider, and act upon the preliminary and final plat of Malachi Second Edition to the City of Howe, Grayson County, Texas, being a replat of a part of Lot 8, WJ Teague Addition to the town of Howe, being a total of 0.287 acres in the J. Hanning Survey, abstract number 544. Does the council wish to discuss this item?
I have one comment here. Mr. Nunez, I really appreciate you talking to your neighbors for this. I know that they've had many feelings about what's happening on their street, and I think, I can't speak for them, but I can imagine that they're probably very pleased with this outcome. So good job, Monty, advising him to do that, and thank you for coming to an agreement.
Does any other council member wish to discuss this item? If not, do I have a motion?
I'll motion to approve.
Billy makes a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Sarah seconds. All in favor? All are in favor. Any opposed? None are opposed. Yes. Okay, yes, that is correct. This did come with a recommendation from the P&Z. Thank you, sir. Number 9, discuss, consider, and act upon the preliminary and final plat of lots 7R and SR, Block 8, WH Beans Addition to the City of Howe, Grayson County, Texas, being a replat of all of lots 7 and 8, Block 8, WH Beans Addition, being a total of 0.316 acres in the J.A. Hanning Survey, abstract number 544. This too was comes with a recommendation from P&Z. Do I have a council member that wishes to discuss this item? If not, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Ronnie makes a motion to approve.
Second.
Michael makes a second. All in favor? Anyone in?
I am not opposed, but I'm abstaining.
Okay.
I'm one of the flood victims, so
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
voting either way.
Okay,
I live at the bottom of Touch Street.
so Sarah, Michael, and Rodney are in favor, and Billy is abstaining. Ordinance number 814.
I am glad it passed, though.
Okay. Ordinance number 814, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Howe, Texas, amending Howe's zoning ordinance as amended to rezone a tract of land consisting of 30.06 plus or minus acres of land located in the Marcus C. McKinney Survey, abstract number 831, Grayson County, Texas, in the City of Howe, Grayson County, Texas, heretofore zoned SF1, providing that the tract is hereby rezoned as C2, describing the tract to be rezoned, providing a penalty clause, saving and repealing clause, severability clause, and an effective date, and providing for the publication of the caption hereof. This too was recommended, it was approved recommendation, I guess, from the P&Z. Okay. So we will open this up for public hearing for ordinance number 814. Does anyone in the public wish to speak on this ordinance? If not, then we will end the public hearing, return to regular session. Item number 10, discuss, consider, and act upon zone change requested by property owner Michelle Foster Thompson for the purpose of a rezoning request seeking amendments to the City of Howe zoning ordinance number 528/756 from SF1 to C2, General Commercial District. Property description: a tract of land consisting of 30.06 plus or minus acres of land located in the Marcus C. McKinney Survey, abstract number 831, Grayson County, Texas, in the City of Howe, Grayson County, Texas. Property ID number 132240, Thompson Michelle Foster Trust, approximately legal acreage 30.06. Does the council wish to discuss this item? If not, do I have a motion?
I will motion to approve.
Billy makes a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Rodney makes a second. All in favor? Everyone is in favor. Any opposed? None are opposed. Number 11, departmental reports. We will start with Police Department. Chief Edmond.
Good evening. In January, the department answered 144 calls, generated 10 reports, made no arrests, issued 1 citation, and responded to 7 motor vehicle crashes. We also hired and swore in a new officer, Daniel Starkey. He's here tonight to greet the city council.
He does have to talk, right?
I think many of you met Officer Starkey. He's a 2018 graduate of Howe High School, 2020 graduate of Texoma Regional Police Academy. For the last year, he's worked as a jailer for the Grayson County Sheriff's Department office. And he's in his he's in first phase of his training, but 4th week. So
Welcome.
hopefully we'll have him on the street soon.
We're glad to have you.
And lastly, I've submitted our 2023 racial profiling report, which you should have all received a copy of. If there's any questions about any of that.
Any council members have any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Fire Department, Chief Monet.
Mayor, Council, good evening. Howe Fire Rescue for the month of January had 60 calls for service, 43 of these being EMS calls, 9 fire calls, 6 MVAs, and 2 miscellaneous false alarms. Howe Fire Rescue's been busy preparing for our EMS kickoff April 1st. Our open house that we're going to have for the public is going to be Saturday, March 30th. Grant applications have been submitted on the fire side for new equipment and new personal protective gear. Howe Fire Rescue also received a grant for recruiting purposes, so you'll see a new custom canopy and tablecloth and banner shortly when they arrive that we can put out for the public and help with the recruiting of more volunteers. Our new hire test for our EMS is going to be this Saturday, February 24th. We've received 22 applications for our 6 spots, so great turnout so far. Just want to say thank you for everything you've done through this process, and hopefully we're going to hope for the best.
Does the council have any questions or comments? Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Next up is Code Enforcement, Mr. Furr.
Code Enforcement Report for January 2024. 1 invoice was sent, 1 invoice was paid in full. No courtesy letters were mailed, no violation letters were mailed. 6 doors were tagged for violation. 1 verbal warning was given for violation. 19 violations or interactions were made and or corrected via phone call. 7 code violations, interactions were made and or corrected via email. 6 in-person meetings were held to correct code violations. 3 permits were signed off and completed. There were 2 Freedom of Information requests submitted and completed for January. 1 permit was transferred to Bureau Veritas. And these actions totaled 47. January, again, continued the slow code enforcement winter season. And I know it doesn't feel like it right now, but we are currently in winter. Make sure your outdoor animals are taken care of. They have adequate food, water, and shelter regardless of the temperature. And with it warming up like it is in the daytime, we're going to start having mosquito issues again. So make sure you check your yards and make sure there's no breeding grounds, nothing containing water. I also have All-American Dogs report for January 2nd, 3:42 p.m. They patrolled the city focusing on stray animals. January 8th at 4:14 p.m. they patrolled the city focusing on stray animals. They stopped by the city hall and spoke with Becky that day. January 11th at 1:47 p.m. they responded to a call regarding stray cats in the trailer park, and they did not see any at the time that they were there. January 15th at 12:25 p.m. they responded to a call regarding a dog running loose on Farmington. They drove the area but did not see anything at large. January 18th, 10:32 a.m., they patrolled the city focusing on stray animals. January 22nd, 1:43 p.m., they patrolled the city focusing on stray animals. That's it.
Does the council have any questions or comments?
No questions, but Ben, congratulations on finishing your degree.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Public Works is up. Mr. Phillips.
Mayor, Council, good evening. Since the last meeting, Public Works has carried out 84 service orders for a total of 102 hours of work performed. Of those 102 hours spent on service orders, 47 hours were directed toward water, 10 hours towards sewer, 42 hours towards streets, and 3 hours towards miscellaneous tasks. And some public works updates. On the morning of Sunday, February 4th, we went into emergency operations due to loss of supply at the GTUA intake site. During this time, a conserve water notice was issued in attempts to conserve the remaining Howe water capacity. Lead operator Blake Hamner responded to the event, monitored the water system capacity, and made sure that we maintained supply and normal operating pressures. Repairs to the GTUA site were made and supply was quickly replenished by GTUA at approximately 3 p.m. that day. But in the event that supply from GTUA was unable to be restored in a timely manner, Public Works was ready to initiate a plan of action that would have kept the city sustained with water supply and normal pressures, but thankfully this plan was not required to be placed into action. With that said, I would like to acknowledge and applaud Mr. Hamner for his quick response and efforts to operate the system during this time to ensure that the citizens of Howe were not impacted by this event. So I'd like to thank you, Mr. Blake Hamner back there. Also on Friday, February 2nd, Public Works, in partnership with Pradera Mobile Homes, assisted in performing flushing of their water mains within the premises in attempts to correct some of the ongoing water quality issues being experienced. During this time, I did flush multiple areas where it did have yellow stained water quality, but this was easily corrected and cleared up within minutes of flushing. I did speak with one resident who noted that the efforts were effective as they were now receiving crystal clear water when they drew bath in the bathtub instead of a yellow stained quality of water. The water being flushed during that time was being metered and deducted from the master billing for Pradera. And then also negotiations for a permanent agreement between the City of Howe and Pradera LLC are also still ongoing as well there.
That's excellent news for the Pradera community.
Yes. And then just a reminder, the North Texas Municipal Water District will be beginning their annual chlorine maintenance, better known as a chlorine burn. This will occur from March 4th till April 1st. During this time, free chlorine disinfectant is used in attempts to help prepare the pipes for summer months when hotter temperatures can increase the potential for bacterial growth. There are no foreseen quality issues that should come of this chlorine maintenance process that is performed every year. Also, in an update to the well 2 repairs, in attempts to regain its water production, repairs have been completed and the well is currently pumping and producing water. Bailout efforts were unsuccessful, but the jetting of the formation was, leading to the well's production increasing from the 150 gallons per minute that it was back to a 220 gallons per minute. So we did get the slightly higher result flow rate than what it was before the drop off. So that's even better news. This has resustained Howe's primary water source for the chloramine pressure plane east of the Highway 75 corridor, while we continue the efforts in seeking financial assistance for a new larger well that will sustain Howe's water demands for growth in the years to come. Also, for update, we've got an update for Mr. Operator Chris Bristow on progress of the Brightly Asset Management and Work Order software, as well as the 120 water software that pertains to the new regulations by the EPA on lead and copper rural vision. So I'll let him step up and give that update.
Before Mr. Phillips sits down, does the council have any questions or comments for him?
No questions, but comments. Very well done on the response to the GTUA situation and last month's communication that got shared with the pipes and the water discoloration. I got very good feedback from the communication that y'all put out.
Excellent.
Thank
Glad
you.
to hear. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good evening, council, mayor. So, us with the Public Works, right? So, we try and streamline and make sure productivity is good. Make sure that everything that we do is cost effective for the city. With that, we decided to go ahead and purchase some software. I'm going to go ahead and start off with the 120 software that we purchased. This software is due to the fact that the state and the EPA came down and was like, hey, we're going to make some new regulations like they do every 3 months, it seems. So they're coming down. They said, hey, we need you to classify every single service line in your city. Every residence, every commercial development, whatever needs to be, or whatever uses water, we need to make sure that there is no lead in your city. So what this does is we are starting to create an inventory, which we've actually completed 100% as of November 12th. We were supposed to have that done by October 2024. We finished it November 12th, 2023. So we got that finished. Now what we're going to be moving on to is actually classifying, okay? They haven't set a date yet for that. The EPA hasn't, but we're looking at 2025, 2026. What that's going to entail is you're going to start seeing public works guys come into your yard, especially if your house was built before 1988. We're going to start classifying every material on the front side, which would be the city side, and the private side. So we're going to start potholing on each side of your meter box just to get that classification of material. Sometimes we might just be able to pull up your meter box and actually look inside. So it could be easy, but some of it may be digging up on both sides of the meter. From there, we'll be able to put that information into the 120 water system. It will automatically populate all the documentation that we need to submit to the state. And I'm looking at about 6 months of classification process of our guys getting out there and actually visually taking heat on that. And then hopefully by October have everything sent up to the state. So we are way, way ahead of schedule on that, but it's better to be ahead of schedule than to be lost in the woods. So that's where we're at with 120 water. It's been a great investment and it's helped us out tremendously. So thank y'all guys for approving that. As far as Brightly is concerned, Brightly Dude Solutions, it's also called AE or Asset Essentials. It's going to help streamline our processes of work orders, start doing preventive maintenance tasks on all of our assets that we have here at the city. So, yeah, so all of our assets that we have at the city. So from our backhoes to our fleet, to our pumps and motors at our well sites, everything that we have, we're going to be able to work our preventive maintenance schedule. We're also going to be able to keep track of our inventory a lot better also. So what's going out, what's coming in, what are we using at water at holes. We're going to be able to use pictures, right? Add pictures to these work orders. So in the future, 10 years down the road, somebody can look at this residence and look what's in the ground and not have to dig it up to try and figure it out. We also have GIS mapping that we're going to be utilizing. So we ended up repurchasing. We used to have it back in the past, and now we have it again. But we're going to be able to create a mapping system through the city that's on a digital platform. In that process, we also purchased 4 more iPads, right? 4 iPads. So 4 more iPads. So every one of our guys is going to be able to have an iPad, and it's pretty much going to be their Bible throughout the city. It's going to have all the rules and regulations in there. It's going to have their mapping. It's going to have all of their work orders. So there's no more of losing time on running over to City Hall, grabbing a work order, going out doing the work order, possibly losing that work order because you have 10 work orders that you're doing. It's all going to be in one system. So we're looking at kicking off training starting next week. So I'm buttoning up just a little kinks that we have here and there, just to make sure everything fits right for the city of Howe. And then looking probably 15 March on actually getting it rolled out. So that's it. That's what
Excellent news. Do any of the council members wish to have a discussion over this, or questions or comments? All right, thank you, sir. Next up, we are going to have Economic Development, Municipal Court Administration, and Utility Department. Mr. Walker will give those reports.
Mayor, Council, everyone asked me about the sewer situation, so I'll give a very high-level view without divulging information that I shouldn't. But we have identified a property, as most people know. Yes, it is in your backyard. No, it shouldn't be around anybody. So I want the public to understand that we are working towards that situation. A plan is in place, and we're working through that situation as quickly as we possibly can. So this is more of economic development, but we are talking to a hotel, and we are just trying to figure out if we have sewer capacity to handle such a development of that nature. Obviously, a hotel brings a lot of taxes, so what we're hoping is we do have capacity and we can work with that group. We do have continued progress with developments, including Noble Ridge, Ponderosa Point, Connections Park, as well as early negotiations with other possible residential developments. Of course, all of that is structured based upon whether we have sewer capacity and then creating solutions with these developers for other alternatives. Public Works was excellent, as you discussed, in keeping the water to the community in GTUA. I also want to commend Mickey and Blake and those guys over there, and Chris, as the supply went down earlier in the month. I thought we had, as Mr. Ingram stated, I thought we had great communication with the citizens. It was kind of a panic Sunday, but we got through it. You heard and you passed the Bain Machinery, which is attempting to purchase that property next to Southwest Auction. You know, there's a benefit to that. You know, machinery. I'm just going to turn that off. The good news with you know, is the property, because it gets it out of ag, at least on that 10 acres. So that's good for the city. The sales tax on heavy machinery is really not any, unless they do any service work. But it's a big benefit. You can see how we're starting to develop 75. Well 2 had the corrosion issues. It took it offline for a month or so. We're getting ready to pump that back in here in the next couple of days. That overall project cost the city $91,000, which is a pretty hefty expense on a well that we're already producing out of, but it needed maintenance. And as Mickey stated, it got us another 70 gallons per minute, which is huge, because everyone, I hear the public, they want the well water, the groundwater, and not the surface water. And so we're trying to take as much groundwater as we possibly can on that east side. Right now, we're supplementing. Everybody right now currently is taking surface water, but we'll be switching that back over here shortly. We've been receiving numerous resumes for city secretary and court permit clerk. I feel that we have many qualified candidates, and of course we're going to interview several tonight. Chief Monet is processing resumes for EMT and paramedics. Public Works is losing 2 employees. One is moving out of town, and one took a larger paying job. After reviewing applications, the 2 new employees are set to begin shortly. Mickey described the Pradera, so I won't go into length about the Pradera, but that is huge, because it's really the only complaints that we're getting right now on our water is coming out of Pradera, and I feel like we have resolution to that situation. So I applaud Public Works again on that. I've ordered GPS for all of our city-owned vehicles, including fire, police, Public Works, and code enforcement. This is not a Big Brother situation. This is a liability protection situation, so that we just have track of our assets. Went through training with our Texas Agriculture Community Development Block Grant that will improve Young Street from the stretch of Highway 5 to North Collins Freeway. That's not going to happen overnight. That's going to be a process. Anytime you go through a grant, it's going to take years to finish that project, but the sewer line underneath that road will be replaced, and the road itself will be completely rebuilt. So that'll be a big benefit to the citizens that travel that street and that stretch. I did physically address all the homes in Noble Ridge in phase 1A. First time I've ever done that. That was interesting to do. I'd like to thank the city of Sherman for helping me out on some of that. Now, we've had discussions with our software for General Ledger and our utility, and we've been running this Assist software since 2007. It's out of date. You can't get support on it. So we will be coming to you for we do have a contract with AccuFund, but we want to consult with our city secretary who is hired and what they're comfortable with before we pull the trigger on anything there. Let's see, Noble Ridge contacted us about the creek that runs between their property and Bicentennial Park, and indicated FEMA had denied the naming of the creek Choctaw Creek because there's another Choctaw Creek. We came up with a name quickly, which honors former business owner and resident to Howe, J.J. Chisholm, so that portion has been renamed to Chisholm Creek, and what we're hoping is Noble Ridge will name their trail that runs along that creek Chisholm Trail. That would be kind of neat. The city's sales tax receipts for this month was a record $67,079.50. Of that amount, $16,769.90 belongs to the Howe Community Facilities Development Corporation. By the way, the EDC Type B is starting to look at projects to do with some of that money that's sitting there. At the end of January, the EDC had $209,896.91 as a bank balance and a CD investment balance of $52,335.21. Events for this community center, the Summit Gardens, we have two on February the 24th. We have February the 25th. I'm going to be busy that weekend. March the 8th, March the 10th, April 28th, May 4th, May 1st, May 25th, June 1, June 19th. So you can see this building stays pretty occupied. And that brings in revenue to our Collins Memorial account, which is $13,713 balance right now. There's no expenditures really coming out of that account. It's all money that's just stockpiling in from these events. So the Chamber of Commerce, next event, Howe Hump Day, March the 6th. The mayor alluded to that. It's right here at Summit Gardens. We will have a March 20 members luncheon at 903 Brewers in Sherman. They help us out tremendously with our Founders Day Festival, so we want to help them out by hosting our luncheon there. Met with event planners from Anna and Melissa to outline all events in 2024 to make sure we're not stepping on each other's toes. So I love the fact that we're all working as a partnership with nearby cities. The Chamber announced the date of Founders Day Festival to be May the 4th, so we'll have a lot of Star Wars people there, I guess, that day. The Chamber's added 2 new members since February the 1st, and we have a ribbon cutting scheduled at Cora Grace Boutique, March the 23rd at 10 a.m. if y'all would like to be there. That'll be a fun event.
Clay Wilson's going to full regalia.
Utilities. In January, we billed $194,709.13 out of 1,246 accounts. In February, $210,002.22 out of 1,225 accounts. With court, total is $5,894.84. The net to the city on that, or the gross to the city on that is $1917.23, The state gets $2,896.01. After we pay our attorneys, our attorneys and our judges, we're at $83.33. Any questions?
Council, anyone have any questions or comments?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. So we'll move into executive session. The City Council will convene in closed session pursuant to the provisions of the Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551, Texas Government Code. Executive session as authorized by Texas Government Code, Section 551.071. Consultation with attorney on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with this chapter, Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Section 551.072, deliberation regarding real property. Discussion items are Noble Ridge, Impression Homes, Howe Meadows, real estate matters, interviews and procedures to hire city secretary, to appoint hire city secretary. The time is 7:15 p.m.
So we out of executive session yet?
Well, I have to announce it.
Okay.
We are live?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, your microphone's green, you're live.
The council will now end the executive session and reconvene into open session, and the time is 9:48 p.m. Action item 12, discuss, consider, and act upon any items listed under closed or executive session if needed.
I motion to approve Monty Walker to extend an offer of employment for city secretary as discussed in executive session.
A second.
So Billy makes a motion, and Sarah seconds. All in favor?
All in favor?
Everyone? Anyone opposed? None opposed. If there's no further business to come before this council, this meeting stands adjourned at 9:49 p.m.